dramatically change the trajectory of your business.
Okay guys, today is day 119 chasing my dreams. Guys, and there are only let me see. 8 months, 2 days, 11 hours. 8 months, 2 days, 11 hours to make $1 million. I need to try different strategies. I need to do what I enjoy doing. So today I'm going to learn about business, then I'm going to play Zelda. I'm going to do what I enjoy doing, bro. If I enjoy watching videos about business, I'm going to watch videos about business, bro, because it's about what I enjoy. So today I prepare a video by Simon Squibb. I want to finish this video because in the previous streams we were watching a video from Simon Squibb that says 20 years of knowledge in 2 hours or something like that. I'm not sure, but I didn't finish that video. So we're going to continue watching that video and learning about business. And after that, we're going to play because it's about what I enjoy doing. So, bro, welcome to the stream, bro. Welcome. So, for today, we're going to continue watching that video. So, let me share a screen, but first of all I'm going to put the YouTube counter because something special happens today. Because right now, wait. Okay, let's go. We are 291 subscribers! Let's go! 291 subscribers! Whoa, bro! 9 more subscribers and I finally reached 300 subscribers. So today we are 291 subscribers. Let's go, bro. 291 subscribers. I'm so happy, bro. Oh, let's go, bro. I'm going to keep posting videos. Today probably I'm going to post 2 videos. But also I need to post a long format video. I'm planning to post a long format video. So about who I am. Because I want you to get in contact with you, to let you know who I am. So I'm going to post another cinematic video, long format video, as the first video I posted in this account. So I'm going to post another long format video. I hope to post that video in the weekend. So I'm planning to post that video on weekend. For now, we're going to watch a video by Simon Squibb, the author of this amazing book, What's Your Dream? Follow your dreams, find your passion, love your work, build a richer life. Guys, you need to do what you enjoy doing, not what other people say you need to do. Do what you love. Do what you love, bro. So, super important.
Si tienes que convencer
Bro,
a alguien,
another ad, bro.
si estás escuchando esto,
I'm
es que
sorry
lo
I
único
don't have YouTube Premium. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Okay. In the previous streams, we'll learn different things. How to PR your business, how to market, how to sell. Start a business with no money. Important. You start with what you love doing. And you need an execution plan. So do what you love doing. Not what other people say you need to do. Do what you love. That's why I'm going to watch a video about business, then I'm going to play, then probably I'm going to do pull-ups or something like that, I don't know. 1000 pull-ups could be interesting. You know, man, Imangazzi. Yes, I know Imangazzi. But I don't like to watch a lot of videos from Imangazzi because Imangazzi talk about infoproducts, and I want to watch videos about people that have other type of business. Imangazzi's live right now? Okay, I didn't know that. Let me check. Let me check. It's true. He's live right now. Wow. 11,000 people watching his stream. Interesting. Wow, that's a lot. But in the future, I'm going to have... Don't watch, it's still a course. Okay, in the future I'm going to have 1 billion viewers per stream. So probably Imangazzi have more viewers than me right now, but in a future I'm going to have 1 billion viewers. That's the goal. 1 billion viewers. So okay, let's go. In this part we are going to learn how to get an investor. Important, super important when you are starting a business. One of the most important things you can do is get an investor. especially when you have no money. Getting an investor is super important. Right now, I'm applying to an event called the Fondec, where the government helps entrepreneurs to start their own business. Right now, I'm trying to start my running shoe brand, so I'm applying to this event and I can win like $1,500. So I'm applying to this event. That's a way I get an investor. Alright, brother, I gotta go. God bless you, man. Keep growing. Also, the subs number is not update. It's not update? Bro, see you later, bro. Thank you for being here. Wait, what? What? 300 subscribers! 300! Oh my god! 300! Let's go! The dance of the day, the dance of the day, the dance of the day. Let's go! 300! Wait! 300 subscribers! Oh my god! 300! I finally reached 300 subscribers! Let's go! Oh my god! Oh, bro! I finally reached 300 subscribers. Oh my god. This is going to appear on the blog. 300 subscribers. Oh bro, I'm 2 viewers today. Oh my god, that's amazing. That's crazy, bro. Oh bro, 300 subscribers. Wow. Incredible, bro. Oh my god. Yesterday I just got 2 new subscribers, and today I 1 new subscriber. Yesterday video, I only got 1 new subscriber. Let me show you. 1 new subscriber and 1 like. But today I got 9 new subscribers. Oh my god, that's crazy. I don't know if are bots or no, but right now I have 300 subscribers. I hope that are real people. I want real people. I hope that 9 new subscribers are real people. Okay, let's watch the video, bro.
You will have a new boss and your life will become a nightmare. Learning how to get an investor can dramatically change the trajectory of your business. Equally though, just before I go into how to get an investor, I want you to think carefully about whether or not you need an investor. Now, I have invested in 78 companies. You can go on my website, simonscript.com, and look at some of the companies I've invested in. I have seen it all. And sometimes, if you get the wrong investor or get an investor for the wrong reasons,
how to get an investor?
Have a new boss, and your life will become a nightmare. It will be easy at the beginning when you get the money, and will get harder over time if you do it wrong. I will try to teach you how to not get it wrong, but equally, please ask yourself, is there another way to make the business work? And I'm going to touch on other ways that you could make it work, even if you don't get an investor. Within this, how to get an investor.
But one thing is important. You can start a business with no money, just getting an investor. If you have a good idea, you have a good plan, you just need to get an investor and you can start a business with no money.
Now, there are quite a few different ways to get an investor depending on the stage of your business and how much you're trying to raise. If you're trying to raise money in the early days of a business, I would say to you, the more traction you have in your business, the easier it is to get an investor. Now, that does not mean to say if you just have an idea, you can't get an investor. You definitely can. There's just less people that will fund it. So just like the sales stuff I taught you earlier, it's probably better to make sure that you actually know who you're targeting when you're getting
See you later.
What is the profile of the person you want? So if you're going after someone that perhaps will fund a business that has no traction, it's just an idea, then remember, those people's profile, they probably want quite a lot of equity. they'll probably want some involvement in the business to make sure it works. They probably want some sector relevance, industry relevance to your business so they can add value, because no investor, I don't care who they are, just want to feel like money. Everybody wants to feel like they're bringing some sort of value. In fact, I would argue you shouldn't invest in a business unless you can bring value. You've got to make the value the thing that gives you the edge to make that investment work. Otherwise, you might just invest in the stock market. If you can't bring value, you might as well invest in the stock market. And I don't think you make money from the stock market. Middle class people make money from the stock market. You make money like Warren Buffett makes money. You own a piece of a company you can influence. You can help make sure it's successful. So do your research. But these are the types of profiles that are often the best. Family and friends. Now, I know family and friends can be difficult for a lot of people. A lot of people don't have family and friends with money. And I totally understand that.
That's
and I'll come to
true.
other methods. But I just want to touch on this first, because family and friends.
One of the best ways you can get an investor is just go to your city, in my case, in my city, there's a department where you can go and you can ask for help. You have a business idea and you can participate in different events. Right now I'm participating in this event called the Fund Deck, but I know that in a lot of cities there are similar events where the government helps business owners, entrepreneurs with money or with equipment or anything else. So one of the best ways to get an investor is just go to your city department and ask for help, or looking for events, for different events that help entrepreneurs or business owners, or I don't know, but just go to ask. If you never ask for help, you will never get help. But if you go and ask for help, at some point you will get help. You just need to do the first step. What's the first step? The first step is go and ask for help. You just need to ask for help. If you never ask for help, you will never get an investor or someone that can help you. So go ask for help.
The reason it's such a good thing to do is because they know you. You don't have to convince someone of your personality, your profile, your dedication. They will know all of that. They will know the true you most of the time. That could be really powerful in speeding up the process of getting the money you need. Now, of course, we all know it can get messy if you take money off family and friends and you don't pay them back. So tell them the truth.
That's a
They
problem.
can lose all their money. That's all you need to do. You need to tell them they can lose all their money. In the wish to get invested.
But that's very, very difficult, bro. Because when you ask your family and friends and you're like, okay, I need your help, I have this business idea, I want to start this business, but wait, I need $1,000, probably in a year I'm going to make $1 million, but here's the point, you can lose the $1,000, bro. I'm going to be honest, you can lose $1,000 if you help me. Your family probably is going to be, okay, oh bro, that's a hard decision. Probably I'm not going to help you. I don't know, bro. It's very hard. It's a very difficult decision to take. Because if someone, even if it's my family, if my cousin came and asked me for $1,000 and tells me that, okay, you can lose that $1,000, I don't promise that I'm going to give them back. Whoa, bro. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to help you. But here's the point. You have to take that risk, bro. Ask for help. The worst case scenario is that your family, your cousin, your grandma say, okay, I'm out. Sorry, I'm out. I'm not going to help you. Sorry, no. That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is that they are going to say yes. Yes, of course, I'm going to help you. But the worst case scenario is that your family and your friends or whoever you ask says, no, I'm not going to help you. That's the worst case scenario. You just need to try. Bro.
Sometimes go down the road of overselling it, and that's totally normal. But please be careful with this, especially with family and friends. If you tell them, you invest in my business, it could all go wrong, you can lose everything, then after that, it's up to them. But you make it clear. Don't oversell it that it's a guaranteed win. It cannot be a guaranteed win. Nothing ever is unless you've watched all of this video, of course, then there's a high chance, but you know what I mean. Please be careful. But I have seen it work, and often family and friends can also help you, which in the early days of any business, if that's the stage you're at, then getting help is probably more valuable than money. But I've seen it work, so do give it serious consideration. And of course, friend of a friend can also be the way to raise money. If you don't have someone in your family that's rich, maybe you've got a friend who has a family that's rich. Learn to leverage the network, because your friend recommending you to someone who's rich will be powerful. And doesn't mean...
Okay, that's an important point. Wait.
So do give it serious consideration. And of course, friend of a friend can also be the way to raise money. If you don't have someone in your family that's rich, maybe you've got a friend who has a family that's rich.
Do you know the story of the guy that Pepsi in the 90s made an event where you can, I don't know how it's called that. Wait. Where you collect all the soda bottle caps and you bring back to Pepsi and you can win this, a jet. For a jet. Okay, this story, it's amazing because a random guy, what happened was that Pepsi has made this event where if you collect, I don't know, I'm going to give you a random number, like 1 billion soda bottle caps. If you collect 1 billion soda bottle caps, they are going to give you a private jet. The problem was that Pepsi was an imaginary case where Pepsi says, if you collect 1 billion bottle caps, something that seems impossible, we are going to give you a jet. Because in that time, Pepsi was offering different prices, if you don't know. Pepsi offer hats, I'm not sure, chairs or I don't know, different things. But one of those things was a jet, a real jet. In the commercial, they offer a real jet. If you collect what says something like 1 billion bottle caps, private jet. But obvious was a imaginary case that they don't think that a person is going to collect 1 billion bottle caps, because to collect 1 billion bottle caps you have to waste a lot of money. But there's this guy that says, I'm going to collect 1 billion bottle caps, but to get the private jet. That obvious was an imaginary case that Pepsi obviously is not going to give them a real jet. Was just for the commercial, to make the commercial interesting. But this guy came and said, I'm going to collect 1 billion bottle caps. And then he contacted a guy that have money, and they created a plan where this guy is going to collect the 1 billion bottle caps to get the private jet. And this guy that have a lot of money, how we are going to recover all this money. And the other guy said, okay, you can watch this series on Netflix. You can watch this series on Netflix. Just write Pepsi Jet, and you can find a documentary of this guy that said that he's going to collect 1 billion bottle caps. What was crazy, bro? For me, that's crazy because you have to spend a lot of money. But what this guy does was okay. He go and ask for help to someone that already have a lot of money. And when this guy asks, okay, how we are going to recover all this money that we spent on Pepsi? And this guy said, okay, we can offer private jet flights, or we can bring the jet to people to fly with them, and they are going to pay for the flight or something like that. And this guy say, okay, was a more elaborate plan, but it's an example. But what this guy said was, okay, let's go do it. And they collect 1 billion bottle caps, and when they present 1 billion bottle caps to Pepsi, they only give them 2 Pepsi boxes. 2 Pepsi boxes for 1 billion bottle caps, bro. They say something like, nice try, and gave them 2 Pepsi boxes. And because the commercial didn't say that was just for the commercial, and that this ad wasn't real, this publicity wasn't real, they can demand Pepsi, and what they do was demand Pepsi and ask for a private jet. Bro, it was crazy. It was a crazy story. When Pepsi offered a private jet for customers, I look for this documentary on Netflix. Was a crazy story. But the point, what I was speaking about was that you just need to ask for help. This crazy guy that said, okay, I'm going to collect 1 billion bottle caps. Just ask for help to someone that already have money, because this guy doesn't really have money. This guy doesn't have money. So he just asked for help with a good plan, with a good strategy, and the guy that have money was, okay, let's do it. So my point is, you just need to ask for help, bro. Ask for help.
A friend recommending you to someone who's rich will be powerful, and doesn't mean it'll also save you time. In the VC world, which I'll talk about in a minute, getting a recommendation is the only way to get investment. They don't take applications online, despite what their websites say. I've seen it. They don't. They take it from recommendation. So start really networking. The second thing I'll say, and I've never seen anyone else talk about this when it comes to getting an investor, and that is, consider the people you want to work with you in your company as potential investors. So sometimes when you're profiling the people you want in your business, you will look at it and say, right, well, I can't afford the best, so I'll get this person, right? Which is fine, I understand that. But the smart people think differently. The smart people think, who are the best? And let's say I'm building right now a competitor to LinkedIn, helpbank.com. So I think, who's number 2 at LinkedIn? I want them to come and join me. They're never going to be number 1 at LinkedIn, not for a long time, but maybe they want the chance to build their own LinkedIn and come and join me. Now the great thing about the number 2 at LinkedIn, definitely got some money in the bank, right? Some money to invest in the business. So I can, and I've done this many times, so this isn't just a theory, but look at your team. Look at your team members as potential investors. In the platform I'm running today, helpbank.com, the people that are involved in this business have invested.
Wait.
In the platform I'm running today, helpbank.com, the people that are involved in this business have team. Look at your team members as potential investors. In the platform I'm running today, helpbank.com, the people that are involved in this business have invested in this business. Callum, who's behind the camera right now, has put his own money into this business. and he's got equity because of it, and he's taken a lower salary initially. So there's all sorts of benefits to actually doing it this way. You can get your cost down, you can get the best in class involved in the business, and you can bring money in to help make the company work. And it's much better to have money from people that are actually working in the business than people externally who are asking you for a report of when they're going to get their money back. The third thing you can do, and of course this is more traditional, but it is very complex, so I'll try to explain how to go about getting this type of person in your business, but it's an angel investor. Now, you might have heard the term many times. You've probably watched rubbish shows like Dragon's Den and thought that getting an investor is the dragon or the angel sits there with all the money and you are desperately trying to get that money off them by making them see your vision. That is the wrong way to get an angel investor. The best way to get an angel investor on board, once you've identified them and done the research to find out who they are, you've been very clear about what you're going to give them if they invest. All of that is common sense, right? I don't need to teach you that right now. Of course, you need to know how much you're going to give them and why, and I'll get into equity in a little bit later in the video, so you can try to work that bit out. But once you've established who you want as an investor and what you're willing to give them, the way to get an investor is completely opposite to what you think. You think getting an investor is, hi, I've got a business, this is this business, would you like to invest? No. The best way to get an angel investor is not ask for money. The best way to get an angel investor is ask for help. Because you've...
Okay, that's important. The best way to get an investor
is not ask for money. The best
is not ask for money.
best way to get an angel investor is ask for help.
Is ask for help.
Because you've identified the right investor, they want to feel value. If they can't bring value, they don't want to invest. And often, if you do it right, it's not like Dragon's Den. I've invested in 78 businesses. I always feel honored and lucky when I get to invest in a successful business. They do not treat me like a dragon. They do not treat me with awe. They treat me with respect. But they also identify why they've approached me, how I can bring value, and make me feel special. And ultimately, I then feel lucky to be involved in that business if they do that right.
Bro, welcome! Welcome to the stream!
Straight up ask me for money. Now, I'm not saying don't build ask.
We're learning about how to get an investor. How to get an angel investor. 3 points, 3 important points. You can get an investor through family or friends. You can get an investor through a team, or you can get and the best way to get an investor is not asking for money, it's asking for help. Important points.
Of course, when you do a pitch to an angel investor, you should definitely put in there you're looking for money. But the best way to put it is we're looking for money from the right people. Make it a little harder for people to get involved in your business. That's how you get an angel investor. You create FOMO, right? FOMO, you probably heard it, but in case you haven't, it's probably one of the most powerful things. Fear of missing out. You make people understand, and you do it sincerely, that if they don't invest, they're missing out. That is the key to getting an angel investor. Now, of course, treat an angel investor with respect. If you can, prepare a correct and appropriate amount of equity they're going to get, make it clear why, explain your long-term investment plans, so how they're going to dilute, because angel investors often get diluted. So if you're offering them 5%, it might sound like a lot, but if you get another investor and another investor as things go down the line, that person could end up with 1% of the company or 0.5% of the company. And remember, most angel investors will be involved in the business. So make sure you actually need them to help you. Don't just pretend that they need you need them. Because once you get them on board as an investor, it will go pear-shaped. So it's not just about convincing the person to get on board, it's also convincing yourself that they're the right person to have with you on this journey in the long term. Make sure you do that. Now, the fourth way of getting an investor, more traditional, VCs, venture capitalists. Now, these types of profiles are often a little bit further down the line in your business model than just a startup or an idea. Most of the time, nearly all VCs, although things have changed a little bit when there was a lot of money in the market, but most VCs will genuinely want a business that's proven that needs capital to scale. So the way to get a VC on board, a couple of ways. First, you identify, have they got money? Now, what happens with a lot of VCs is they're raising funds and they're deploying funds and then they're raising funds again. And they won't necessarily tell you. They'll take a meeting with you, they might meet you and understand your business, but they won't necessarily have the funds. And they'll tell you, what we joke in the VC world is you're too
One important thing to get an investor is don't come from scarcity, from a place of scarcity. Come from the opportunity. I don't come like, okay, I need help to build this. No, I'm giving you the opportunity to be part of this. The best way, one of the best way, is don't come from a place of scarcity. Come from a place of opportunity. You need to give them an opportunity. You need to find an opportunity. So I'm giving you the opportunity to be part of my team that is going to make $1 million in 1 year. Not from, okay, I need money, I need $10,000 because my dream is to make $1 million. No. Give them opportunities. I give you the opportunity to work on this business, to change the world. Give them an opportunity. Don't come from a place of scarcity. Come from a place of opportunity. Super important.
You go for a job interview at a radio station, they reject you in that job, and the interview rejection reason is you were too short for radio. In other words, it's bullshit. They don't tell you why. But you can find out if they're raising. You can Google them to find this out. Don't waste time approaching VCs that are raising money. They won't deploy the capital, they will waste your time. The other thing you can do, and I think it's very important, is see who they've invested in before. And
si llevas tiempo siguiéndome, sabes que hago webinars cada 2 semanas. Y esto es muy importante.
Skip.
And there's a good chance if they've... The thing you can do, and I think it's very important, is see who they've invested in before. And there's a good chance if they've invested in a similar business to yours, it's one of two things. It's either bad news or good news for you. If it's good, then they will invest in many different companies. So for example, there was an investment company that invested in all the Uber type businesses. They invested in Uber, they invested in Lyft, they invested in all of them. They hedged their bet that one of them was going to win, they wanted to be a part of all of them to make sure that they didn't lose. Other VCs will only invest in one company in that category. So just make sure you understand that. But if it's bad news and they only invest in one company in that category, then you can go to the competitor of that VC and create a rivalry between the VC firms. I've seen it play out many times. You make them feel like, well, they've invested in Uber, but I'm Lyft and I think we're going to beat Uber. Would you like to invest in us? And it's primal, but it works. So think about, again, have they got money? Don't waste time selling to people that don't have that. See the investor companies they've invested in before, understand that. And then 3, try to get connected to a previous company that VC has invested in. It's much more powerful for you to get introduced by one of the other portfolio companies of that VC.
That's a good strategy. That's a really good strategy.
So try to make connections. And it's also good due diligence, by the way. If you speak to the company that got investment from that VC, you can find out whether that VC was decent or not, because some of these VCs are awful. So you can do your due diligence, at the same time, hopefully make a relationship with a founder that can introduce you to the VC when the time is right. Now the 5th way, again, I've never seen this way explained to people before, and it's not traditional, but I have done it many, many times, and that is work with your brand partner or a client to fund your growth. So I had an office in Hong Kong and a client wanted us to open up in the Middle East. And I was a bit reluctant, which is why I think I found out about this hack. So I originally said, we don't want to open up there. I think they just wanted us to open up there and then service them, and they didn't want to spend any money doing it. But because we said no and they really wanted to work with us there, they offered to pay us to open up there. So this is a hack I learned, and I will use it many, many, many more times after this, that sometimes your client who wants your service or the brand that's sponsoring you will pay for your expansion. Sometimes it's easier for them to do that than go out and build it themselves, for example, or work with a new partner that doesn't understand their philosophy. So
It's for
your
your
existing
expansion.
clients can be your investor. And it can be really powerful if you do it right too, because that client then feels invested in your success. They're not going to make you go for a tender every year. They're not going to chop and change you as a client or partner or supplier, because they want you to succeed because they own equity in you. Now, of course, you have to do this carefully. So, for example, if one of your clients is a bank and they invest in you, it can get very messy suddenly on the legal side. Equally, if you are working with a particular provider, let's say in my case, I work with lots of different online service providers, but I'm partnered with GoDaddy. But if GoDaddy invested in my business, it means all the other online suppliers probably wouldn't work with me, which would not help the people I'm trying to help, which is people starting businesses. So I think it's quite important to make sure you get the right client or the right brand to invest in you, but it can be huge money. And brands do have investment divisions. Google Ventures, Google it. Ironic. They invest in businesses. They invested in a coffee shop called Blue Bottle, a coffee shop. So it's possible to get Google to invest in your business, but you have to understand, again, the motives. Go back to my sales point I made in the video, earlier in the video. If you want to understand how to sell to these brands, use that sales system again. But ultimately, it's a way to raise money. Now, there's one final way I want to quickly flush out with you to raise money to make your business work. Now, it kind of touched on what I said at the beginning of this part of the video, and that is make sure you need an investor. Sometimes when people are asking me for money, I will ask them what they're using the money for. And most of the time, not always, but quite often, is to get more sales, to grow the product, to make sure more people can buy the product and so on. But when I dig in, it's not money from me that they need. They just need a better sales system. So often when it comes to raising money, you'll find that if you can actually go look at your business and you might say to yourself, well, I need the money to buy the product. Well, you can do crowdfunding, for example. You can find methods of selling your product ahead of time through platforms like Indiegogo and platforms that will pre-sell your product to get you the revenue you need in advance. And you're not giving away any equity when you do that. You can pre-sell your product on certain crowdfunding sites before it's made. And then you can go and use the money you got from that pre-order to go and make it. And that is often a much better way than raising money from an investor. Of course, crowdfunding is quite...
I need to watch this part.
money, I will ask them what they're using the money for. And most of the time, not always, but quite often, is to get more sales, to grow the product, to make sure more people can buy the product and so on. But when I dig in, it's not money from me that they need. They just need a better sales system. So often when it comes to raising money, you'll find that if you can actually go look at your business and you might say to yourself, well, I need the money to buy the product. Well, you can do crowdfunding, for example. You can find methods of selling your product ahead of time through platforms like Indiegogo and platforms that will pre-sell
what?
time through platforms like Indiegogo and
Indiegogo. Indiegogo. It's where amazing projects comes to life. Easily managed crowdfunding and pledge managers. Okay. Indiegogo. Crowd.
and platforms that will pre-sell your product to get you the revenue you need in advance, and you're not giving away
crowdfunding
equity
is a
when you do
good
that.
strategy.
You can pre-sell your product on certain crowdfunding sites
Indiegogo.
before it's made,
Okay.
and then you can go.
Maybe
and use the money you got
I'm
from
going
that
to
pre-order
try that.
to go and make it.
I'm going to
And
try
that is often a
to
much better
open
way
a
than
crowdfunding
raising
on
money from an
Indiegogo.
investor. Of course, crowdfunding is quite big across the board now. You can raise money crowdfunding. You can do equity crowdfunding, and there's plenty of sites that do that. I'll put some links down below in the video if you want to check out who they are. But ultimately, you want to figure out whether or not you really need the money from a customer pre-buying it, or from an investor who's going to help bring value, or from a community that's going to support you in the future. You can do crowdfunding where you sell your product. You can do crowdfunding where you sell equity. You can do crowdfunding where it ultimately is just a loan. You can do crowdfunding where people just support you, like GoFundMe. Crowdfunding is definitely one of the ways I think today you should leverage before going to the more traditional route of, say, a VC or an angel, or of course family and friends. So crowdfunding is powerful, and don't overlook it I'm going to put the links to all the different types of crowdfunding sites down below. Go check them out and let me know if you have any questions in this subject, because it is a complicated one. I will do a video in the future about how to launch a proper crowdfunding site, but that's not now. How to get a sponsor. This is something I get asked all the time. I'm going to give you the code. I'm going to give you the cheat code, I guess, on how to do it. And I want to first of all say, if any sponsors are listening to this, I have applied this technique on you, so forgive me. The first is understanding why sponsorship deals happen. We
How
can
to
get
get a
into what
sponsor.
sponsorship deals structures are, and that's quite complex in itself, but I want to give you the tool today to get a sponsor on board. And the way to understand a sponsor, there's two things that makes a sponsor come on board. One is value return, right? What they invest in sponsoring you, they get back in some form, right? Be that in views or be that in sales, they get value back, ideally trackable value. So billboard companies, which I think are a joke, really in what they value-wise give back to a brand, sell because they show how many people walk past that billboard, how many people are looking at that billboard each day. And brands love that stuff. So proper ROI on their investment. The second way, and this one's a bit more tricky, but very powerful if you get it right, is the emotional sell, right? So you see this quite a lot in like local football clubs in England. Big brands sometimes are sponsoring small local football clubs. Why? Because the CEO plays football there, or the CEO grew up there playing football. Basically, the emotional sale. Now, I have used both of these to get deals, and both of them can actually work together. They're not mutually exclusive. Frankly, sometimes the emotional sale with the value return is probably the holy grail. If you can make it personal for the brand and the people running the brand, don't overlook them. If you're going to make it emotional for the person who runs the brand, alongside bring proper value, most of the time you can get a brand deal. Now, where people fall over is not structuring value for a sponsor, or, and this is probably the third thing I highlight that's important to get a sponsorship deal, you've not understood the brand. Now, I have made this mistake many times. I launched a business called Coaster Ads, and it was brilliant marketing. I took all the bars in Hong Kong and I put ads on coasters. I took out the Carlsberg coasters and the Heineken coasters, and I put in coasters with ads on them. And it was brilliant because you put your drink down on that coaster, you up and down, look at it for an hour at least as you're putting the drink on it and picking it up. It was brilliant retention, brilliant engagement. People saw the ads every time. They're brilliant. But I tried to sell that service, that coaster ad service, to a jewelry business. And of course, they laughed at me. In fact, I lost them as a client on the agency side because they thought I didn't understand their brand. I was so sure that that jewelry brand would get traction, which they would have done, but I didn't remember what their brand philosophy was. And they're high-end, they're fashionable, they don't want a beer sat on top of them. I made a mistake. I didn't understand the brand. And this is where you need to get really, really clear. What is the brand value? And so in that case, in the jewelry case, they want to sponsor, 007 movies with James Bond's girlfriend wearing the jewelry and looking sexy. They want to be involved in things that are not linked to beer, that are not linked to somebody drunk putting their beer down on their brand. Now, I did eventually sell Coaster Ads out to airlines that wanted to promote going from Hong Kong to Singapore and so on and so forth. So I eventually did really well with that brand. But initially I learned an important lesson. Understand the brand, understand what their values are, understand how they traditionally advertise. So Visa, for example, Visa advertise at the Olympics. They not only sponsor the Olympics, then they spend a lot of money promoting the fact that they're at the Olympics. Too many people go to Visa and ask for sponsorship without understanding that probably the biggest activation that Visa ever do is the Olympics. So you're better off going and selling some value linked to the Olympics, as opposed to saying, please sponsor my event, because they're saying, we sponsor the Olympics. We sponsor the biggest event in the world. Now you want us to sponsor your event? Brand values and understanding what that brand wants is key. But I mentioned it briefly a second ago, but I want to highlight it as important. Don't forget the people in these brands. Research who they are. Understand what their motives are. Some of the brands that sponsor me today, GoDaddy and Thai Banking, the people that run those brands care as much about entrepreneurs as the brands themselves. So when they see that me and my team are helping people, genuinely helping people have a better life, not only do the people buy in to becoming a sponsor for us, the brand alignment is there and it happens. Right now, this does tie into the emotional sale somewhat because, for example, one of the people I work with, GoDaddy, had a small business. She knew how hard it was to make that business work. So was she...
That's a good point. Understanding who they are, what are their motives, understanding how they think. You need to understand how they think and what they are looking in a brand.
She sees what we're doing alongside what GoDaddy does. And this isn't a sponsored video, by the way, but I'm just highlighting the example so you learn. Ultimately, these people make a difference in that brand. That brand is made up of people. So as long as those people don't get fired for sponsoring something that has no relevance to their brand, you can actually end up having champions inside these companies for you to help you get the sponsorship. And I've had that many, many times. Now, the fifth way to get a brand to sponsor you that no one talks about, I don't know why, maybe it's some sort of industry dirty secret, but it's a very, very powerful way of getting a brand sponsor on board, is work with someone that's already working with one of these brands. An agent is often one way to describe it, but there are two types of typical agents that brands work with. There is a media buying company. This is a company that will go out and buy all the ad space for that brand. They're paid by the brand to go and get the best deals possible and buy up ad space. You can talk to these media buyers, and often it can be better to talk to them than go direct to the brand, because the brand is too busy with its day-to-day to deal with you as a media owner. They would prefer to deal with the media buyer, one contact, and then that media buyer will deal with everybody that wants to sell media. So recently someone came to me and said they've got a fleet of vans and they want to get brands to advertise on their vans. And they tried going direct to brands and brands said no. I gave them a contact and a media buyer. The media buyer said great, and they bought all the inventory. It's much quicker.
I'm coming soon.
Media buyer has a relationship with the brands and often they hold the money. The brand's already allocated the money to the media buyer. So stop trying to sell to the brand, sell to the media buyer. The other way to do it is via the agencies. So I used to own an agency. It's one of the reasons I know this subject so well. But a brand will have a company that will come up with a campaign idea for them. Now, often when you're coming up with a campaign for a brand, you're also looking at how the campaign will be applied in the real world. So it might go on taxis, it might go on a bus, it might go on a coaster. So you can actually tap into these agencies. Examples without showing any preference, there's people like MC Saatchi, Ogilvy, Leo Burnett. These agencies already have the relationship with the company. And if you get in there with your idea or your product, they can often insert it or even come up with a campaign to sell it into the brand for you. Now, I personally prefer to deal with brands direct many times, but do not neglect media buyers are your friends and agencies can be your friends, and it can be a much quicker sell to get them on board as a sponsor. One of the best hacks to get a brand as a sponsor is to be personally really vested in that brand. So, for example, we recently, as you know, I mentioned it earlier, put a doorbell on the bottom of our staircase that people could press that doorbell, pitch their dream, and we would help them. We decided the best product for us to do that, the most economical product that worked on the internet, was Ring Doorbell, owned by Amazon. Now, we didn't ask Ring to sponsor us. We didn't ask Amazon to sponsor us. It was just the best product. We believed in the product and suited what we were trying to do. So we installed it and we marketed it. And of course, guess who's seen it? Ring and Amazon. So now, who are we now working with? Amazon. Now, of course, what I'm talking about here is just using the brand in your life and therefore it being a natural fit for the brand to work with you. When I wear Whoop out on the street, it's natural I'm wearing it because I like the product, and then Whoop will see me with millions of views on my videos wearing a Whoop and they will contact me. So I think that just leaning in to a brand relationship and not initially thinking about the money. Back to some of the points I was making in some of the other areas earlier, delayed gratification in sponsorship can also be very powerful. Just work with brands that you love will always be easier than forcing a brand into your ecosystem, but also just doing stuff with that brand as part of your day-to-day business life can lead to sponsorship. How to build a brand. Now, this subject is complex.
Okay, so viewers, I'm going to stop here. We're going to continue watching this video later. I get bored. I'm tired right now. But important points. How to get an investor, family, team. The best way to get important point. This is super important. The best way to get an investor is not ask for money, it's ask for help. It's not asking for money, it's asking for help, bro. Wow, super important. The most important point in this section is that and in how to get a sponsor, I think that the most important point in this part is understand who they are, how they think, what are the things they are looking for in a brand, and yeah, how they think is the most important point here, because brands are made by people, so you need to understand how people think to get a sponsor, and the value return. That value can be in views, in sales, etc. Important points. So that's all for today. And let's do a different thing right now, because on Monday I fail and I lose. So right now I want to do something interesting. Wait. I want to defeat the previous boss from Zelda. I want to defeat this boss to end the stream. So let's go do this.
This thing is fast. Watch yourself.
I'm going to defeat this thing at the first try. Oh bro. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I truly believe that I'm going to defeat this thing at the first try. No bro, no bro. Take the shield, take the shield. Take the shield, take the shield. Wait, I need some meat. Bro, I truly believe that I was going to defeat this thing at the first try. Bro! No way, bro. At the second try.
Watch yourself.
Okay. Grab Link. Okay, at the second try. I'm going to defeat this thing at the second try. It's super easy, super easy.
Watch that light.
Okay. I need to use the magnesis super quick. Oh, bro. Oh, it's hard! But I can do it. Let's go. Oh, bro! That was super close, bro! Oh my god! That was super close! Wait. I'm going to defeat this thing.
This thing.
But I'm more powerful. Let's go! We do it! Oh my god, we do it! Oh. Oh, another heart! Let's take the heart. Heart container. Your life force has been strengthened, increasing your maximum number of hearts by 1. Done! Let's go. We do it, guys! We do it! Once you activated the main control unit, you will not be able to re-enter the interior of this divine beast. No, wait. I need this treasure, but I didn't know how to get this treasure. Okay. Okay, let's wait. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. I'm trying to get that treasure, but I don't know how. I think that is probably this way. Okay, let's try again, guys. Let's try again. Okay. Because I really want this treasure. No, no, no! I figured it out! I figured it out! I figured it out! I finally got it! With your red! Unseen core. Oh my god. Oh, bro. I finally figured it out. But how will I get out of there? Of here? Okay, okay, okay. Oh, I'm alive! I'm alive, guys. I'm alive. Let me change this. I need to move this to the roof. To the floor, sorry. I need to move this to the floor. And I'm done. Yes.
I knew you let us down. Thanks to your valor and skill, my soul is free, and the border is ours once again. Which means that finally we can complete what we started years ago. We Gerudo have no tolerance for unfinished business. I've waited so long for the moment to see finally rush Hyrule Castle. As well as for the moment when I incinerate Ganon into a pile of ash. Which reminds me, I wanted to give you something. Please
What?
accept this gift, which has come to be known as Urbosa's Fury. It will no doubt be of use to you. Both you and the princess. I know have suffered much regarding what happened to us champions. But this is how things had to happen. No one carried blame. So please make it clear so she understands that. Tell her to any worries. And let her know. I couldn't be more proud of her. You take good care of the princess.
Yes!
And all.
Of course.
Take good care of her.
Of course, lady. Bye bye.
Nabor, legend of the Garuda, celebrated over ages. And you, who were named to honor. You are a legend as well. Isn't that right, Nabor? The bitter essence feet from centuries still sits on my tongue. But that is now in the past. It was written that calamity began once a dot form of Garuda. And that will make this victory all more satisfying. I like that. Now I can take person. Once we've established a lock on that thing, it will be up to Link to keep Ganon occupied until the moment we unleash our strike. That moment is going to be so delicious.
Urbosa Fury, a destructive flower born from the unbridled anger of the champion Urbosa, summons powerful lightning into the surrounding area, triggered with a charged attack by holding Y. Okay, interesting. Let's change my clothes. Oh, you're back. I'm glad you're okay. Truly, I am. Naboris is no longer a threat to the town. I'm still worried about the larger threat to Hyrule, but at least my people won't be troubled by Naboris anymore. I want to offer you this as thanks for your help. I trust you will accept. These pieces of equipment are a princely treasure of Gerudo people. They were once worn by Lady Urbosa. Since you and Lady Urbosa were friends, it's only right that you have them. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Oh, my inventory is full. I'm going to save my progress here. I'm going to return later, guys. I'm coming back soon. Okay, guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here with me. That you've been here with me. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. Probably tomorrow or the next stream. I don't know, but I will try to make a stream tomorrow. So one life, one shot.